December 31, 1883. For decades, stories have been floating across the county about an unusual natural depression that's situated north of the ruins of Brimstone. The Indians called the place Wakhansika Iniyan, which can loosely be translated as the entrance to the place of fire or the Hellmouth. Now there is talk amongst the locals that a vast dark stone deposit might be contained deep inside the Hellmouth. McMaster has traveled to the area in the hope of discovering if this place is an entrance into the underworld, where the unworldly creatures abide.
Good evening, and welcome to the Solo Gamers Club. Tonight, we'll be continuing on with our campaign playthrough, Shadows of Brimstone. This is Season 2, Episode 5, and it's entitled The Hellmouth. I've completed the production of some user-created hazards, and I've created a total of 36. So we're going to have the original 36 that are contained in the Frontier Town Adventure book, and an additional 36, which I've created, and we're going to... I'm not going to reveal all of these right now. I want to keep them somewhat of a surprise, but we're going to basically do it in this fashion. I'm going to continue to produce additional hazards until I can get a total of 100 hazards that I'm going to put into a book. And until that time, we're going to make a D6 roll prior to needing to produce a hazard. On an odd result, we're going to use the existing chart that's in the Frontier Town booklet. If it's an even result, we'll consult my new table, and we'll see how that works out. At the end of episode 4, I made an error in stating that it was January 31st, 1884. It's actually New Year's Eve. December 31st, 1883. So I just wanted to make sure that that was corrected. I am keeping a calendar just for purposes of myself and to kind of continue on making the timeline a part of the story. Will McMaster has arrived at the Hellmouth, where he'll be undertaking the basic mission for a few Darkstone more. Before we start the mission, I'll give you an update into his status. McMaster has 4 sanity damage out of a possible 17 capacity. He has no health damage. He's carrying 1 corruption point. He has $35 in cash, 450 XP. He is currently at level 2. And he has 2 rations in his saddlebags. His saddlebags also contain exotic herbs. The Blood Moon is currently active, which is going to boost his spirit by +1. However, if we have any depth events, those are going to be given a growing dread card instead. So we're hoping that we don't get too many depth events, because the growing dread stack is going to grow very quickly. That Blood Moon condition is a result of a travel hazard that we had in the previous video. Will McMaster received an upgrade last video, and it's called Man of Action. That will allow him to roll 2d6 for movement and allow him to choose which of the results he will use. I selected that with the hope that that will provide him with a more steady supply of grit tokens. We had an effect from one of our encounters that says that we would start our next adventure with -1 grit. So at this point we have 0 grit available to us. In our visit to a frontier outpost, we determined that hellbats are wanted, and they will have a $25 reward for each hellbat that we're able to kill during this adventure. And we're going to be undertaking the basic mission for a few Darkstone more, so we're going to find out about our mission length, and we'll determine whether or not there will be a theme associated with this mission. We'll start out with the mission length determination. We're going to roll a d6. On a result of 1 to 2, it'll be a small deposit. 3 to 4 would be a medium deposit. And a 5 or 6 will be a large deposit. Okay, here is our roll. Okay, we rolled a 1, so that's going to be a small deposit, and our objective is to find 2 clue tokens to get to the main objective room. So if we're able to complete the mission, we're going to receive 25 XP and D3 Darkstone. So part of our campaign rules, we're going to consult our mission theme table. We're going to make a D100 roll, and we'll find out if there's any theme associated with this mission that we'll be undertaking. So we're going to roll a D100, and the red 10-sided will be 10s, the white will be 1s. Okay, here's the roll. Okay, we rolled a 69. 69. And that's going to be no specified theme. Okay, so there's no theme attached to this mission. We'll make another roll on the table and find out what our associated threat table will be. That time we rolled a 72, and that's going to be a randomly selected threat table. All right. All right, our randomly selected threat table is going to be the combined table. So that is in essence utilizing the normal threat decks. Okay, McMaster has entered the mines. We've got the mines card out here. Our depth track is ready to go. And our stack of exploration tokens, we'll give that a cut. And he's ready to begin. And just as a reminder, as we are soloing alone for this mission, we're going to receive 2 revive tokens that we can use during the mission. We're ready to begin the mission, and we'll begin with a Hold Back the Darkness roll. Now, as you know, we are under the restrictions of a blood moon. +1 spirit to all of the heroes, but any depth events that may occur on a roll of doubles during a Hold Back the Darkness roll will add a Growing Dread card instead of the of that event. All right, here's our roll for Holding Back the Darkness. Okay, we rolled a 6. Okay, that's a failure because we're in the 7 bracket, so that will move up 1 point to number 1. And now we will activate in initiative order. So as we only have 1 character, it will be Will McMaster. Now he has that special ability of Man of Action that allow him to roll 2 dice for movement, and then he can select which one he wants to use. Okay, here's his movement roll. He rolled a 1 and a 3. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to use the 1 that will allow him to gain a grit token, as he's starting the project out, or the mission out, with none. So he's going to gain a grit token, and then he's going to move 1 space. And we're going to do a search of that room. That's called scavenging, and we're going to roll 3d6, and for every 6 that we roll, we'll be able to draw a scavenge card. Okay, here is the roll. All right, he rolled 2 5s and a 2, so we didn't find anything during that scavenge attempt, and that will end that turn, and we'll move on to starting another one. Okay, here's our Hold Back the Darkness roll. We rolled an 11 that time, so that's good. We're clean with that, and now we're going to roll for movement. We'll roll 2d6, and he can choose which one he wants. He rolled a 1 and a 6. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to use the 1, and I'm going to gain another grit token that will get me up to my maximum grit of 2. We'll move ahead 1 space, and then we're going to scavenge the area. So we're going to make a 3d6 roll, and on any 6s we'll be able to draw a scavenge card. And no success there. We have 2 1s and a 5. All right, that will end that turn. We'll start out with another Hold Back the Darkness roll. I have to say that the Man of Action upgrade is performing just as I intended it to. By rolling that extra die, it gives us the chance in downtime conditions where we can move slower and keep our grit token supply near maximum. So that's very, very good. Okay, here's our Hold Back the Darkness roll. And we rolled a 12. Now normally that would be a depth event, but because of that blood moon, it says that we replace depth events with adding a growing dread card to the stack. So we're going to add a growing dread card to the stack. That's our first one. Now McMaster's going to roll for movement. Okay, he's got a 2 and a 6. Well, we'll use the 6 this time. And he's going to move ahead, move into the doorway, and then we're going to have a look through. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that will complete his activation phase, and then we'll move on to the exploration phase. And we're going to draw a map deck card, and we'll see what we get. And he sees a rail split. All right, we'll get that tile out and add that to the board. All right, we've added our rail split tile that comes from the Caverns of Cinder expansion. We'll place a exploration tile on there, and that completes his look through the door. And now we'll find out what's in that room. So we'll turn over the exploration tile, and we've got 2 exits and 2 encounters. All right, let's find out where our exits are at. The first step we'll do is I will make a d6 roll, and whatever result we have, that'll be the blocked portion. The other 2 will be open doorways. So we'll make a roll there. Okay, we rolled a 2. So by aligning the card with the entrance, that shows us that the northerly way is going to be blocked, and we'll have 2 doors, one to the east and one to the south. All right, we've got our doors deployed to the map. Now we have to undergo 2 encounters. All right, as we have multiple encounters, we're going to draw that many, and then we're able to resolve these in any order we wish. So our first encounter is the Telling Crow, and the second one is Trader's Echo. All right, we'll read that first one. The Telling Crow. Encounter active animal omen. A lone crow sits here, perched atop an old wooden support post. It cocks its head and looks at you, and then begins to caw. In your mind, it's as though you can hear its voice. You shouldn't have come here. These roads aren't safe. Beware. Beware of the dark omen. It then takes to flight, disappearing into the shadows. We'll have to make a Cunning 5+ test. It says, if passed, gain 20 XP, and you may look at the top 3 darkness cards. Choose one to discard and put the others back on top of the deck in any order. For every 1 rolled during the test, draw a growing dread card and add it to the stack. All right, that's the Telling Crow encounter. The other card is Trader's Echo. Encounter, active, treachery, ghost. A cold shiver floats in the air, and you can see your breath in front of you. Stepping into the dank chamber, a chorus of chilling voices echoes down the halls.
You scold us out. Give us our cut of the loot.
And we have to make a Spirit 5+ test. If passed, gain 20 XP as you resist the chilling voices. If failed, take d6 horror hits that do 2 sanity damage each. Also, for every 1 or 2 rolled for this skill test, you must discard d6 times $25 as the angry spirits steal what they deem to be their cut of the loot. All right, I think we'll begin with the Telling Crow encounter. And we have to make a Cunning 5+ test. McMaster's Cunning right now is a 4, so we'll be able to roll 4 dice in this test, and we're looking for a 5 or greater. Okay. All right, we've got 2 successes there, 2 6s. And it says, if passed, gain 20 XP, and you may look at the top 3 darkness cards. Choose one to discard and put the others on top in any order. For every 1 roll during the test, we would have gained a growing dread card. So we're fortunate we didn't get that. So first thing we'll do is we're going to gain our 20 XP, and then we will take a look at those darkness cards. So here's our 20 XP. Add that to our total. And then we're going to take a look at the top 3 darkness cards. All right. Okay, those are the top 3 darkness cards, and we'll take a look at those. We've got Power of the Void. All void enemies are +1 in combat remains in play. A Bitter Harvest. Every hero must roll a d6 for each side bait token they have. On a 1 or 2 discard. And then Wanted Men. All outlaw enemies are +2 health and +1 damage with their attacks. All enemies on the next threat card drawn gain the keyword outlaw. Alright, so one of these we can discard. And I think we're going to discard the Wanted Men. Those outlaws are pretty prevalent, and we don't want to assign a keyword to that next threat card of outlaw. So we'll be able to return these 2 cards back in any order we wish. And I guess we will have the Bitter Harvest will come next, and then the Power of the Void would be after that. And now our next encounter, Telling Crow, is over. Trader's Echo. We have to make a Spirit 5+ test. Alright, McMaster has a Spirit of 1. He gains +1 Spirit for his personal journal, and we are in a Blood Moon condition, which also will add +1 Spirit. So that'll give him a total of 3. He'll be able to roll 3 dice for the test. We're looking for 5 or greater. And we did not get it. All right, I am going to spend a grit token and have him re-roll that test. So we're going to have him spend a grit, and then that will allow him a re-roll. And we'll see if we can pass this. And that time we did. We have a 5 and a 6. It says, if passed, gain 20 XP as you resist the chilling voices. All right, so that gets us another 20 XP, which is great. And then it says, for every 1 or 2 rolled for this skill test, you must discard d6 times $25 as the angry spirits steal what they deem to be their cut. And unfortunately, we did roll a 1, so we're going to lose d6 times $25 to the angry spirits. We rolled a 1, so that's as good as we can do. That's going to cost us $25. And we'll discard that along with our grit token that we used. All right, that will complete that encounter. We'll place our used encounter disc here, and that will complete that encounter. All right, we'll continue on. We'll make our Hold Back the Darkness roll. We rolled an 11, so we're good with that. Now McMaster is going to roll for movement. He'll roll 2 dice and pick 1. He rolled a 1 and a 4. I think I'll have him move. He'll use the 1. That'll allow him to recover the grit token that we used previously. And he'll get an opportunity to search and do a scavenge. So he'll move 1. I think we'll move straight ahead. And then we're going to do a scavenge roll. And it'll be a 3d6 roll. And for every 6 he gets, he can draw a scavenge card. And we got no success there, a 1, 2, and a 3. So that's going to end his turn. Okay, we're going to hold back the darkness. We rolled a 7, so we're good with that. And now we're going to roll for movement. And we rolled a 1 and a 2. Well, I'm going to use the 2 this time. We're at maximum grit. And we'll move towards, I think, this doorway. So we're going to move 1, 2. All right, and I can perform a scavenge, and I think we will. I need to get some cash and XP, so here's our scavenge roll. And no luck there, a 1 and 2 4s. Okay. All right, we'll make our hold back the darkness roll. And he rolled snake eyes. Well, normally that would be a depth event, but because of that blood moon, that's going to be a growing dread card added to the stack. So we'll add a growing dread card. That's our second card that we have to add now that we've added. And now he's going to roll, McMaster will roll for movement. He rolled a 3 and a 4. Okay, we'll use the 4. And McMaster is going to head into that doorway and take a look down. 1, 2. And then we're going to draw a map deck card. All right, our map deck card is revealed to be the Black Pool. It has an advanced encounter, and this is a card from the Caverns of Cinder expansion. The advanced encounter will be called Black Blood of the Earth. That's the advanced encounter. We'll get that tile out and add that to the map board. All right, we'll place our exploration token in that on that tile, and now we'll reveal what we've got. That's revealed to be 1 exit, and we have 2 encounters, and it is a clue. That's our first clue token. Okay, the first step is we'll determine where that single door is going to come out. Make a roll, and we'll align our cards so that the arrow is the same as McMaster. Okay, here's our roll. Rolled a 4, so our doorway will be straight ahead. That'll be the door here, and we'll get 2 block passages for the other 2 exits. All right, we've added our end caps and our doorway, and now we have to have 2 encounters, so that's in addition to the encounter, the advanced encounter that comes with the Black Pool card. The other 2 are revealed to be Void Layer and Plague of Boils. All right, we'll read through those and decide on what order we wish to solve those. All right, and the first one is Void Layer. Encounter, environment, void. The passage is covered in thick, sticky webs, and soft egg sacs line the walls and floor. All heroes on this map tile need to roll 1 higher to hit than their attacks, for their attacks. 4+ becomes a 5+. Also roll a d6, and then there would be variable things that'll happen. Venom burst, they're hatching, and dormant egg sacs. So we'll decide, we'll read through all of these first, then decide which we want to do in what order. The next is Black Blood of the Earth. Encounter, environment, darkness. This chamber holds a massive pool of bubbling black liquid. Gooey and viscous, the pool pulsates with a rhythm of life that's mesmerizing to your mind. Choose. Move closer and investigate, in which case we'll perform a lore 6+ test. If we can pass that, we gain 50 XP, and every hero may discard D3 corruption points. If failed, you are pulled into the pool. Take P die hits and P die horror hits before you drag yourself back out. Or we can skirt the edges and avoid the pool. We'll make a Spirit 5+ test. If passed, we'd gain 20 XP. If failed, you are pulled into the pool as above. Finally, we have Plague of Boils. Encounter, active, plague, omen. Looking down at your hand, you notice a large pus-filled boil that wasn't there before. Feeling the back of your neck, there is another. Right before your eyes, another begins to appear on your palm. We'll have to make a Spirit 5+ test. If passed, gain 25 XP as we resist the worst of the plague. If failed, you are overcome with painful boils. Until the end of the adventure, you are -D6 to your health and -1 strength. Whoa, that's pretty severe. We don't want to have to deal with those, that's for sure. Okay, I've decided on the order that I wish to resolve these encounters. We'll start out with Plague of Boils. We'll need to make a Spirit 5+ test. Our Spirit is a 1. We gain +1 from our personal journal, and then another +1 because of the Blood Moon. So we'll be able to roll 3 dice, and we'll see what happens here. Okay, here's our roll, testing Spirit. And we got a 6, so that's good. It says, if passed, gain 25 XP as you resist the worst of the plague. All right, so we're going to gain 25 XP. Get an 25 XP counter out. Okay, that's great. And it says here, if we would have failed, we would have been overcome with painful boils, and until the end of the adventure, we would have been minus D6 to health and -1 strength, so that's not good. All right, that one is done. What we'll do next is Black Blood of the Earth. And we're going to try this lore test, I believe. We have a lore of 3, and we're going to gain +1 lore for our personal journal, so that will allow us 4 dice. This is kind of a tough test, though, because we're looking for a 6. But I'm going to give it a shot. Okay, here is the roll. And we have 2 6s. 2 6s. It says, if passed, gain 50 XP, and every hero may discard D3 corruption points. Well, that's great. So we're going to gain our 50 XP, and then we'll be able to get rid of D3 corruption. Okay, here's our 50 XP, and we'll roll a D3, and we can get rid of up to 2 corruption. We only have 1, but that's great. Glad we did that. Okay, and that is going to complete that encounter. We have 1 left. It's called the Void Layer. And it says here, all heroes on this map tile need to roll 1 higher to hit for their attacks. +4+ would become a 5+. Also roll a D6. So we're going to have to roll a D6 and consult that table. All right. Okay, here's our D6 roll. We rolled a 3. It says they're hatching. Void spiders hatch all around. Ambush attack of 2 P die worth of void spiders. All right, so we're going to make 2 peril die roll to find out how many void spiders we're going to have to face. Okay, here is the roll. And we rolled a total of 10, so we're going to get 10 void spiders out. We'll lay those out and then start the combat. All right, the spiders are placed in ambush position, so they are going to gain +2 to their initiative. They're going to have an 8 initiative, so they'll be going first, and then McMaster will be second. I'll bring the void spiders chart up on the screen. They have an initiative of 6, they're small, and a movement of 8, an escape 4+. They have a melee of 4+, combat 2, damage 2, 0 defense, and 3 health. Now, as long as we are on this map tile, we're going to have to abide by what it says for Void Layer, and it says that we have to roll 1 higher to hit for our attacks. So my plan here definitely is to try to clear a path and move into the next chamber, and that would at least eliminate us from having to undergo that extra to hit penalty. Okay, we'll start out with a Hold Back the Darkness roll. We rolled a 4, so that's a failure. That's going to move us up 1 to 2, and that's a blood splatter. So we are going to have to draw a darkness card. And that is revealed to be a Bitter Harvest. Every hero must roll a d6 for each side bait token they have. On a roll of 1 or 2, discard that token. And it also says that for each hero, that discarded one or more tokens move the darkness forward one space on the depth track. Okay, we'll make that roll then. And we're going to be rolling for our exotic herbs. And on a 1 or 2, we're going to have to discard that. Okay, here's the roll. We rolled a 6, so we're safe with that. This card can be discarded. Okay, first thing before I forget is I'm going to move up our depth track. We've uncovered 2 rooms, so we're going to be at a depth of 14 for the posse. All right, now we're going to start our first round of combat. The Void Spiders have the initiative, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them in contact with McMaster. So they have a combat value of 2. We're just going to roll 10 dice. Now they're going to hit on a 4 or greater. Okay, here's the roll. All right. Okay, so we have a total of 5 hits. Okay, we'll get rid of these, and we'll place those 5 hits up here. And then McMaster will have a chance to defend. He has a defense of 4. So he'll get to roll 4 dice. Sorry, 5 dice. And he'll defend on a 4 or greater. Okay, he's made 1 defense. So that'll knock out 1 of those, and he's going to take a total of 4 hits, which are going to give him a total of 8 wounds. Okay, so he's going to take 8 wounds, and that will move him at a wound value of 8 out of his possible 17. I could have used a grit to try to re-roll some of those missed defenses, but I think we'll try to save those. Now McMaster is going to activate. Now as long as we're in this void layer on this board, we're going to hit on 1 higher than normal. Now McMaster's normal to hit with ranged is 4 or greater, so it's going to be 5 or greater. So what I'm going to try to do is clear a path by targeting these spiders first. Then I can move onto the other tile, and then that detriment will not, I won't have to worry about that. So I'm going to use McMaster's Peacekeeper. He has 3 shots, and he's going to hit on a 5 or greater. Okay, here is the roll. All right, he has 1 hit. And all right, well, I'm going to apply that hit to this spider here. And the spider has a defense of 0. So as long as we can get a damage of 3 or greater, that'll kill it. Okay, here's the roll. We rolled a 1, so we get 1 damage point to that spider. Not good. We'll mark him with 1 damage, and that will end the round. We'll roll to hold back the darkness. We rolled a 7, so we're good. Now the spiders will activate. They still have a higher initiative than we do. They had a 2+2 bonus because of the ambush, but now they'll go back to their normal initiative of 6 and still greater than ours. So the spiders will activate first, and they're going to roll another 10 dice on us. And they have a melee 2 hit of 4 or greater. All right. This time they have a total of 4 hits. Move those off, and then now we'll be able to defend by rolling 4 dice, and we'll defend on a 4 or greater. No defense. I'm going to have to use a grit token, and we're going to re-roll that. All right, that time we were able to defend 3 of those. So 3 of those will not count. 1 of them will, and we're going to take 2 additional damage. That'll bring our damage total up to 10. So we'll have 10 wounds out of our possible 17. Okay, not a good start. Now McMaster will activate, and he is going to use his Peacekeeper. That's 3 shots. He's going to hit on a 5 or greater. We have 1 hit. It's a critical hit. All right. I'm going to use, I think, my... Yeah, I guess we'll just apply that. I'll apply the critical hit. It won't really matter because they have a defense of 0. So I guess we'll apply it to this spider here, and that will give us a chance at killing it. 3 or greater and it's gone. And we did. We killed it. Okay, that's good. We'll place that on our card so we can account for our experience points. And that is going to end the round. We'll roll to hold back the darkness. We rolled doubles. Now that is going to, because of the blood moon, that will add a growing dread card instead of a depth event. So now we are at our 3rd growing dread card. Okay, and now the spiders will activate. The spider is going to move into attack position. That'll still maintain a total of 5 attacking spiders, which will be 10 dice. This is a tough one. Okay, here's their roll. They hit on a 4 or greater. So we'll take all of those out, and they've managed to get a total of 5 hits on us. Okay. We'll be able to defend with 5 dice. Okay. Our defense is 4. And we were able to defend all of them except 1, so we're going to take an additional 2 damage from the spiders. It brings our damage total up to 12 out of 17. Okay, now McMaster is going to activate for movement. We'll roll 2 dice, and you can select one we want. Okay, he has a 4 and a 6. Well, he's blocked out. He won't be able to move, and he does not get a grit token. So he's going to fire his Peacekeeper. We'll roll 3 dice, and I'm also going to use my Sheriff's Badge, which is going to give me plus 2 shots with a gun. And that's once per adventure. So we'll have to flip this upside down. Can't use that anymore, but that'll give us a total of 5 dice to roll. Okay, here's the roll. That time we did pretty good. We have 4 hits. So we're going to assign those hits. We're going to try to blast these spiders in back of us. 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and I guess 1 here. Oops. Okay, so we're going to roll for that one. He already has 1 wound on him. And we've killed him. That's good. Now this one. Rolled a 3. That's sufficient to kill him. And then this spider. Killed him. And finally this one. Rolled a 2, so he's going to get 2 damage. Okay, 2 damage on him. All right, and that is going to end the round. Okay, we'll hold back the darkness. And we rolled a 9, so we're good with that. No problems there. And now the spiders are going to activate. These spiders still cannot get through. They're blocked out. These guys are already committed to him. And these spiders cannot move past them. There's not enough space there. So 2 spiders will attack him. That'll be a total of 4 dice. And they'll hit on a 4 or greater. They've got 4 hits. All right, so we're going to be able to defend using 4 dice. And we'll defend on 4s or greater. And we defended all of those. That's good. All right. Now it is McMaster's turn. He's going to roll for movement. And he'll use the 6. So he's going to try to escape from the clutches of those spiders. The escape roll is a 4 or greater. So let's see if we can get this. Here's the roll. We rolled a 6, thank goodness. So we're going to redeploy back into this chamber, and that will hopefully, that'll help us because our 2-hit will be greater. It will improve it from 5 to a 4. So I'm going to move back. We're going to be probably heading this way anyway. So I'll move 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I have a range of 6 with my pistol. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll still be able to target quite a few of those. All right, now we're going to fire our pistol. It's 3 dice, and we're going to hit on 4 or greater now because we're not in that room anymore. We got a total of 3 hits. That's great. So we'll apply those. 1 there, 1 there, and I suppose this one here. Okay, we'll start with the front one there. That's killed. We have 5 damage. And then this wounded one. Rolled a 2. That's a total of 4 damage. He's killed. That's good. And finally, this one here. And we got 5 damage on him, so he's dead. That's good. All right, finally, we got a break here. That is going to end the round. Okay, we'll hold back the darkness. We rolled doubles, and that's going to add a Growing Dread card. That's our 4th now. This is not going to be good. All right. And now the spiders will activate. They have a movement of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so he has 3 spiders in melee range of him. They'll be rolling a total of 6 dice on their attack. Okay, here's their roll. And they managed to get a total of 5 hits. Okay, we'll have a 5 defense roll. Whoa. Re-roll that one. And we've managed to defend 3 of those 5, so 2 are going to hit us for a total of 4 damage. That will bring us up from 12 to 16 wounds, 1 short of being KO'd. Now we'll activate for movement. And we've got a 5 and a 1. Well, I'm going to use the 1. That'll allow us to get a grit back. That gives us 2 grit now. And he's going to fire his Peacekeeper with 3 dice. He managed 1 hit. Okay, I'm going to spend 1 of those grit, and it will allow us to re-roll these 2 dice. And nothing, of course, so we've got 1 hit. I guess we'll target that one, and we'll see if we can take him out. His damage is 4 wounds. He's killed. Okay, that's good. All right, and we will start a new round. Okay, we're going to hold back the darkness. We rolled a 10, so we're fine there. The spiders will activate, and they're going to attack. It's a total of 4 attack dice. And they have 2 hits. We'll have to defend with 2. We have no defense. So we are going to take a total of 4 damage. That will KO us. So we're going to spend 1 of our revive tokens, and that will totally heal us, and that also will take care of the sanity damage that we have. All right. We're going to roll for movement. We rolled a 5 and a 3. Okay. I'm going to, try an escape. Try an escape roll. Reposition myself. We rolled a 5, so we're good. I'm going to spend those points and we're going to reposition ourselves here. And then we're going to use our Peacekeeper. We'll roll 3 attack dice. We rolled 3 hits. All right, so we'll see about, we'll put one of these on each and then we'll save one as a reserve. All right, we'll start with this spider here. Roll a 1, so that's 1 damage. And then we'll try the second one. That one we killed. And then we'll use our last die against that spider and see if we can take him out. He already has 1 wound. And we did, finally. Okay, so that, we successfully took care of those spiders. That's great. All right, we're going to catch our breath. We have no damage that we need to recover from, so that's okay. We used our, unfortunately, one of our revive tokens. So we'll get to draw 1 loot card as a reward. Okay, here's the loot deck. Give that a cut. And we draw $50 in cash and 20 XP. All right. So we're going to get our 20 XP, $50 in cash, and then we're also going to earn a total of 10 XP for each of the spiders. That'll be 100. 10 times 10. 10 is 100. So we'll earn an additional 100 XP for that. So that worked out pretty well. And that'll boost us up to 675 XP and $60 in cash. And now we're ready to begin our next turns. We'll roll to hold back the darkness. Rolled a 4, so we failed, and that's going to move the darkness marker up from 2 to 3. Okay. McMaster is going to roll for movement. Here's his 2 dice. You can select one of those. I guess he'll use the 6. All right, so he's going to activate for movement. He'll move into the passageway. And then during the exploration phase, we'll see what he sees going down that doorway. So we're going to draw a map deck card. And that is revealed to be corrosive pools, which will have an advanced encounter called acid drips. Okay, we'll get out that map tile. All right, we'll place our exploration token in there. We already have found our first clue. So if we can find one more clue, we'll have found the main objective room. Okay, we'll find out what our exploration token has to say. And that is a gate, and we did find our clue. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, the mission says, when the final clue is discovered, the heroes have found the Darkstone deposit they're looking for. Ignore any attacks or encounters listed on the final exploration token. Also ignore any door or gate icons on the token, as the objective room has no exits. Okay. Then it says, reveal all growing dread cards in the stack as normal, and then the heroes must face an epic threat. Well, in this case, it's going to be a high threat because as we're playing solo, we're going to use that rule that states that epic threats are high threats. Once the enemies have been defeated, the heroes have successfully completed the mission. All right, that's great. Although the objectives for the mission state that we're supposed to ignore attacks or encounters listed on the final exploration token, I don't think that's going to prohibit us from using the advanced encounter acid drips. So we're going to have that be active in this room, and it says acid drips. Encounter, environment, acid. Drips of acid fall from the ceiling here, burning anything they touch and collecting in luminescent pools on the cavern floor. Every time a hero starts their activation on this tile, They must pass an Agility 5 test or take D3 wounds, ignoring defense. All right, and that's going to remain in play. And now we're going to reveal our growing dread cards from that stack, and we'll see what those are. Okay, here is our first card, and that one is the Great Devourer. Beyond the threshold of sight and sound, ancient and terrible things dwell, waiting to awaken and begin the harvest of worlds. Any hero KO'd during the remainder of this adventure only rolls a single D8 on the Injury Madness table instead of the normal 2D6. All right, here's the next card. That one says Power of Darkness. A pit in your stomach forms as you hear the cracking of bones and tearing of flesh up ahead. Whatever evil lies around the corner is clearly hungry for more. During the next fight, a random enemy group gains an extra elite ability. If already in a fight, one of the current enemy groups gains an extra elite ability instead. Okay, here's the next one. Shadows out of time. You feel surrounded by the thick black shadows closing in. Even the lantern begins to hiss and crack as the darkness tests its boundaries. Immediately draw and play D3 darkness cards. If at the mission objective, any enemies generated by these cards are simply added to the final fight. Okay, this is getting harder and harder. All right, we're going to make a D3 roll and see how many darkness cards we have to reveal. Okay, we rolled a 1, so that's about as good as we can do. And we'll draw a darkness card, and that is revealed to be Animal Savagery. Darkness, Boost, Beast. All beast enemies gain an extra +2 combat for each 2-hit roll of 6 or greater they roll during an attack. Remains in play. All right, so we're going to keep all those out here as being active. Now the last one. Wave of Heat. You loosen your collar and unbutton your shirt as a powerful wave of heat rolls over you from ahead, draining your energy and causing a sweat. All heroes lose 1 grit. All right, so that is going to cost us our last grit token. And now it's time to reveal our high threat. Now we're playing with a combined threat table, combined high threat in this case. We could roll on this table that I've prepared. I've prepared threat tables that will kind of customize the threat decks without having to keep shuffling cards in and out. That was the purpose of making these tables. But in this case, this is a combined threat. So all of the cards that I have are contained in these tables. So we're just going to use our standard threat card decks. This is the high threat. We're going to give that a cut, and then we'll see what our threat is for this room. And we've got 6 Scafford Gang with 3 hideous mutations. All right. All right, we are going to place our models on the map. These are our Scafford Gang models that we have. And we'll put those in a checkerboard pattern. We'll start it this way. Okay, and now we have to assign our hideous mutations. Our hideous mutations are going to be tracked with these hideous mutation tokens. They have 2 sets of A, B, and C, and D. And what we're going to do then is assign a token to next to each model, A, B, and C, and they're supposed to be placed in the first out of the grouping. And then these tokens will be assigned to the cards that will correspond to those. So this is our hideous mutations deck. We'll give that a cut, and then we'll draw the top 3 cards, find out what the mutations are. Okay, the first one that is going to be assigned to letter A is hulking beast. Hideous mutation strength. A towering and brutish figure, this mutant has grown hulking with gnarled humps of flesh and bone. Any semblance of reason is gone, replaced with rage. This model now counts as being large size and has double health. He also loses his scabbard pistols, firefight, and shootout abilities, moving and targeting like a normal melee enemy. But he gains +3 combat and +3 damage and charges targets each turn. Changes to XP is 10 + 5 each. So we're going to assign Model A will have this hulking beast capability. Now we'll select our B hideous mutation, and that is Raging Regeneration. Hideous mutation regrowth. Limbs regrow as tentacle masses and gaping wounds spontaneously weave over with tendrils of fleshy mesh. This monstrosity seems unstoppable. This model now has Regeneration 2. At the start of each turn, it heals 2 wounds. Also, when killed, unless killed by an explosive, roll a d6. On a roll of 1, 2, 3, or 4, it immediately stands back up with that many remaining health. XP is awarded each time this model is killed. Okay, that's going to be mutation B. Now finally, mutation C. Stench of Carcosa. Hideous mutation death. A rancid stink of death and ancient destruction fills the room, threatening to suffocate all those nearby with noxious fumes and visions of long-forgotten nightmares. Every hero on the same map tile as this model takes d6 hits at the start of their activation and is -1 on all of their 2-hit rolls. Rolls of 6 or greater still count as critical hits. XP is +20. Well, that is going to become mutation C. So that's how that will work out. It's the first time I've used these Scafford-Gang hideous mutations. All right, now one of our Growing Dread cards revealed that during the next fight, a random enemy group gains an extra elite ability. If already in a fight, one of the current enemy groups gains an extra elite ability instead. All right, so we're going to have to roll on the Scafford-Gang's elite abilities chart, and we'll find out which elite ability they have. Okay, we're going to roll a d6 and find out what the elite ability will be. This is going to be a very, very difficult fight. Okay, the elite ability is a 4, and it's called Bitter Feud. All Scafford models are both +1 health and +1 shot combat for each hero that is keyword law or outlaw in the hero posse. Okay, well, most definitely McMaster has those keywords. So they're definitely going to be +1 health and then +1 shot or +1 combat. So that is not good. We're going to get some counters to be able to mark that elite ability. So we'll put an elite 4 marker out here, and that will prompt us that Bitter Feud is active. All right, we're ready to begin the combat. The only thing we have to remember now is that the model that is marked with the A mutation is a hulking beast. Now, he's a large model, so he's going to be able to move through. He has only melee capability, where all the other ones have ranged, which they prefer to use. But he's a large target, so he's going to be able to move through, and he'll just move those characters out of the way as he pushes through, attempting to close to melee range with McMaster. We'll start with a Hold Back the Darkness roll. Okay, we rolled a 5, so we've failed that. And that will move the darkness marker up 1 to 4. And that's also a blood droplet, so we're going to have to draw a darkness card. And the darkness card is revealed to be Cave In. With a thunderous crack, the ceiling begins to fall in. Each hero must pass an Agility 6+ test or take d6 hits that do 2 wounds each from the falling debris. All right, McMaster has an Agility ability of 2. And that's all he has is 2. So he'll be able to roll 2 dice. He's going to need to attempt to roll a 6 or greater. Otherwise, he's going to take d6 hits with do 2 wounds each. Okay, here is his roll. And he failed that. He has no grit, so we're not able to re-roll that. So we're going to find out, we're going to take d6 hits. That'll do 2 wounds each. And of course, we rolled a 6, so that will be 12 hits from falling debris on McMaster before the fight even starts. Not good. Now we do have a revive token, but we're at 12 out of 17 health just from the cave-in. All right, now the characters will activate in order. The Scaffold Gang has an initiative of 4, and so does McMaster. So in this case, the activation order will be the Scaffold Gang first, followed by McMaster. They win ties. All right. All right, the Scaffold Gang is going to activate, and this model that is marked with an A is that hulking beast that only has the melee capability. So he's going to move 5 spaces directly towards McMaster. Now he's a large character, so he's going to be able to just push these guys out of the way as he moves. So he's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's not quite into melee range yet, but he's close. And that will handle the movement for the Scaffold Gang. I'll bring up the Scaffold Gang card on the screen, and there's a section on here that says firefight. And it reads in the instructions here, it says that the Scaffold Gang are predominantly ranged enemies that have a shootout standard ability to guide how they move and attack each turn. They also have become experts at firefights with the ability to make a second round of ranged attacks at the end of the turn, if not adjacent to a hero. All right. All right, now the Scaffold Gang members will make a ranged attack against McMaster. Now they have that elite ability, Bitter Feud, which is going to give them +1 shot. So now their Scaffold pistols will go from 2 shots to 3 shots. So they'll be rolling 3 dice for each of these ranged attacks. All right, we'll start out with the ranged have a range of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all of them are in range. We'll start out with the farthest one first, taking a shot at McMaster. He'll be rolling 3 dice. They hit on a 4 or greater. Okay, he has no hits. That's good. Okay, so that one is done. We'll move on to the next one. He'll fire. He had 1 hit. And they are going to do 2 damage. So we're going to take 2 wounds from that. That will take us from 12 to 14 damage. All right, now the next Scaffold Gang member will fire. And he rolled 2 hits. So they're going to do 4 points of damage to us. That will KO us. So we're going to have to use our last revive token. And that will clear us of all wound damage. And now the 4th one will attack. Okay, now the 4th Scaffold Gang member will shoot. And they scored a total of 3 hits. That is going to do 6 points of damage to us. I have a strange feeling that we are going to have to flee the mine if we get that opportunity. Finally, the last one is going to shoot. And they scored 1 hit. That will be an additional 2 wounds, bringing our wound total up to 8. 8 out of 17. Now how this is going to work is we are going to be up next. We're going to activate next. And then that firefight ability will kick in with another round at an initiative level of 1. So if we hang around and we don't flee the mine, these guys are going to get to shoot at us again before the end of this round. So that isn't looking very good. Not at all. All right, now we are going to activate, and there's several things that are going to happen to us before anything happens here. The first is acid drips. Every time a hero starts their activation on this tile, he must pass an agility 5+ test or take D3 wounds, ignoring defense. All right, so he's going to do that, and we'll see if he can do this. His agility is a 2. So he's going to have to see if he can pass this. He did. He's got a 6, so he was able to pass that. The other item that we have to deal with is stench of Carcosa from this model that has the Model C. It says every hero on the same tile as this model takes D6 hits at the start of their activation and is -1 to all of their 2 hit rolls. So we're going to take D6 hits. All right. So we're going to take 4 hits. We'll be able to try to defend against those 4 hits. And so we'll be able to roll 4 dice. And for every 4 or greater, we can block one of those. And we did. We were able to manage to block all of those at least. So that's good. I'll tell you, considering all of the things that we're up against with the Scafford gang, their elite ability, these special mutations that they have, and the fact of these growing dread cards, especially this one in particular, that says any hero KO'd during the remainder of this adventure only rolls a single D8 on the injury madness table instead of 2D6. So we're going to be getting a more powerful injury out of this if and when we would be KO'd. So I think at this point, at the start of my activation, I'm going to flee the mine, and we'll go back onto the campaign map. Okay, we have successfully escaped the mine. That will allow us to heal D6 health or sanity. And we've got a 3, so we'll be able to heal 3 wounds. That puts us at 5 wound damage. We'll be able to heal a grit. And we'll move back now onto the campaign map. All right, so we're back on the campaign map. The For a Few Darkstone More mission is a basic mission that will go back into the counter mix with the other rumor tokens, and we're currently at the Hellmouth, where we're going to undertake overland travel. The failure conditions of that last mission were D3 random buildings will be destroyed in the nearest town location. Well, the nearest town location in travel cycles is this last chance. So that's where the D3 buildings will be destroyed there. We'll roll for that if and when we move to Last Chance. Last Chance is definitely the closest town to us. It's a rail town, and I guess it probably wouldn't be a bad idea for us to head there, so I think we will do that. We are going to follow this path towards Last Chance. All right, so now we are at the overland travel display. We have selected our travel path. That's going to be that light brown recognized trail that's headed towards Last Chance. Our guide is going to be McMaster. There is no one else. And his travel pace he will set as a normal travel pace. Okay, now he's going to consume some supplies, and as a part of the normal travel pace, we have to consume 2 rations in order to remain in supply. Well, he has 2 rations, that is his last 2, and he'll use those to stay in supply. And now finally we're going to, next step is going to be to make our overland travel roll. We're going to be using the light brown column, and we'll be rolling a D8. Now we are mounted and we're supplied, so we'll be getting a +1 dice roll modifier. And this will determine how many travel hazards that we are going to have to undergo, if any. Okay, so here is our D8 roll. We'll be adding 1. We rolled a 1, and then so that'll be modified to a 2. A 2 will produce 2 travel hazards. Now also, as a function of this natural 1 roll, it says here if a natural 1 is rolled, check the active mission completion. Roll a die for each mission token and remove it on a result of 1. So we're going to have to go back to the campaign map, and we're going to have to check each active mission. And in this case, we will be using a D6, because we're at our normal pace. A D6 on a roll of a 1, that mission is completed by others. So we'll take care of that right now. Okay, we're going to roll a D6 for each of the active missions on the board. There's 3 of them. We have the Swamps of Death mission, Lost Journal, the Lost Army mission, Supply Chain, and the basic mission, Blow the Mine in the Badlands. We'll start out with the Swamps of Death mission. This is a 6-sided die. On a roll of 1, it will be completed and removed from the game. Rolled a 3, so that one's all right. The next roll is going to be for the Lost Army mission in Mount LaPointe. That is a 1, so that mission has been completed by others and it's removed from the campaign. Finally, the basic mission, Blow the Mine. That one we rolled a 3, so that one is all right. Okay, now we go back to our overland travel board. All right, now we're going to have to resolve 2 travel hazards, and as I indicated at the beginning of this video, we now have another set of 36 user-created overland travel hazards. So for each travel hazard, we're going to roll a D6. On an odd number, we'll use our standard booklet from the adventure book. If it's an even result, we'll draw the hazard from my user-created table. All right. We'll start out by making an odd-even roll and determine which chart we'll use for the first hazard. Okay, that's an even result. We'll be using my new tables. All right, we're going to make a D36 roll. The red die is the 10s, the green is the singles. Okay, here's the roll. We rolled a 26. Okay, we're going to read 26 from my printout. Okay, here's the first hazard. It's called The Lady of the Lake. You observe the spirit of a woman hovering over the lake. It turns and lunges toward you, draining your life force. The guide must make a Spirit 6+ test. If you pass, you resist the attack by the Lady of the Lake, and it flees from you in terror. If you fail the test, the Lady of the Lake taps a portion of your life force. Permanently lose D3 health. Okay, so we are going to have to make a Spirit 6+ test. Our Spirit is 1, and we will be gaining 1 Spirit from our personal journal, so we'll be able to roll 2 dice. So 2d6, and we need to get a 6 or greater to pass this. Okay, here is the roll. And we failed that. We're going to permanently lose D3 health. I could use a grit token, but I think I will just pass on that. We'll see what we get here. We're going to roll a D3, and we're going to permanently lose our life force, D3 health. And of course we rolled a 3, so that's going to permanently reduce our health from 17 down to 14. That's the first hazard. All right, now we're going to make our second roll for a hazard, and we'll roll a die, odd or even. We'll determine which table we'll use. And that's an odd one, so we'll be using the original hazards from the adventure book. So we'll make a D36 roll and find out which hazard we've encountered. And this time it's a 23. And we'll turn to 23 and read that. It reads, Living Hills. Something's not right here. The hills surrounding the valley you are in seem to be shifting and stirring before your eyes. The road before you opens up to reveal a massive demonic maw waiting to devour you whole. Each hero must make an Agility 5+ test to avoid the maw. If passed, gain 15 XP, and you escape the trap. If failed, you leap aside at the last moment. Any transport you are riding is devoured by the beast, discarded, and you lose 1 sanity permanently at the horrific sight of the creature. All right. Well, we're going to have to make an agility test. Our agility is 2. Now we do have 1 grit token available, and this is going to be a agility 5 plus test. So let's see if we can pass this. I hope we can. Here is the roll. And goodness, we did. We've got 2 successes. So we've passed that. That is going to earn us 15 XP, and we escape the trap. And we'll be arriving in Last Chance. All right, McMaster has made his way from the Hellmouth to the town of Last Chance. It's a rail town. And I think we're going to end the video here. When we return, in the next episode, we'll roll up the specifics of the town of Last Chance, along with the D3 number of buildings that will be destroyed due to our failure of the previous mission. So thank you very much for joining me for episode 5 from season 2 of my playthrough of Shadows of Brimstone. Hope to see you again soon. Have a good evening.